So the x-intercepts, again, are -4, -1, and +1. Okay, so x equals -4, -1, and +1. The intervals where the function is positive and where the intervals where it is negative. So the function is positive when the overall function, which is really y equals, or f of x, when those values are positive. The interval means the x, the part of the domain, or the part of the x values. So here, this is easy to see, that between -4 and -1, the function is positive. All the y values are positive. So let's start with positive. So positive. And intervals, we're going to use kind of like set notation, I guess. So let's go like this. It's positive at -4 all the way to -1. Okay? Whether you include 0 or not, I don't know. Probably not. 0 is not really positive or negative, so let's not include it. But between -4 and -1, that's the interval where this graph is positive. And then also greater than +1. Okay? And you could just put a comma there maybe. But greater than +1 would be what you'd put next. So x greater than 1. Okay? So that's where it's positive. And that's this one too. Negative would be, this is where the graph is negative, here and here, right? So negative would be x is less than -4. X is less than -4. Because that's the interval, the x values that are associated with the graph being negative. And because you can only see this part of the graph, it does go down forever, but it also inches over to the left as well as it goes down forever. So eventually it will go all the way to -infinity there, like in the x. So it's anything less than -4. It's just going to go over very slowly. And then also this one is, and it's tougher to see now that I've marked it up, but this is between -1 and +1, right? So it's also negative between -1 and +1. So you could put x, you put these two signs. -1 is kind of the lower boundary there, and +1 the upper boundary. So that's the set notation. Okay, so the third part, explain whether the graph might represent a polynomial that has zeros of multiplicity 1, 2, or 3. Okay, this one's easy for A. It's easy for A because the behavior at the zeros there is all the same. It's all a straight cross, right? It just crosses. So for each of these, and again, it could be something like this, x plus 4, times x plus 1 times x minus 1. We don't know if there's an a value here. There could be an a value here, so we don't know about that. But this could be the equation for this. And we would have to put, because it's crosses, we'd have to just leave exponents 1 on each of these. So each factor here has a multiplicity of 1 for A. So let me know if that helps for 4A there. Did you get all your questions answered there? Okay, all right. So yeah, I'm not sure if, was there a 4B and C probably? Oh, B, C, D, yeah, okay. So I could take a look at one of the other ones from 4 as well. What will change is the multiplicity, obviously, and the intervals, and the intercepts. So a lot of things will change, but, so what was the first one? Intercepts. So it looks like for B, x-intercepts, right, will be x equals -1 and +4, just 2. Right, just 2. Where's the graph? Where is the graph positive or negative? Well, the graph seems to be negative everywhere, right? But again, we wouldn't really include the zeros. So I'm not sure what the back of this textbook or what the answer key states exactly, but I can tell you from a calculus perspective that you wouldn't just say it's negative everywhere. You shouldn't really include the 0. That's why we didn't put the equal to on the other one. So you shouldn't really include the 0, which means that you should split this up into 3 separate sections. 1 section over here, 2 sections here, 3 sections over here. So it's negative, this is the way you should do this, x less than -1 x is between -1 and 4, and x greater than 4. I know that's kind of seems a little silly. It's like, well, what's the big deal? Well, technically at 0, the function is neither negative nor positive. And again, in calculus, you're going to have to split things up like this because the 0 really can't be just included with positive or negative. Because which one is it? Positive or negative or both or neither? So we have to be just careful on that one. Okay, so the textbook says it's negative for all values for x except for -1 and 4. And that is a word way of saying what we're saying here by this notation. So yeah, it's negative everywhere except for this point -1, this point +4. That is exactly right. Yeah. They just maybe say it with words a little bit different. I would encourage you to get used to this kind of set notation because we're going to use that a lot this course. And a little bit in calculus. There will be a new notation, interval notation, that we'll introduce in calculus when you get there. But yeah, I would encourage you to write like this. If you could, yeah.
What about the positive? So we just don't write anything about the positive?
Well, in this, for B, there's no, the graph is not positive anywhere. Yeah, so it's not positive anywhere. So you would, I think the question says state the intervals where the function is positive and interval where it's negative. So you could say it's, yeah, you could follow up, I guess, to say that it is not positive anywhere on the domain. You could say that. But this really is the only answer. It's negative here. There is no positive. So yeah, I guess it's a good way. Stated in the positive that there are no positive values. So it's negative on this and not positive anywhere. Yeah, good point. Because this it could be a discontinuous function, and this point could pop up here. There could be a point up here, and this point could be up here as well. So technically, yeah, you should maybe say that. Good. Any other questions? Those are great questions about number 4. I guess we didn't really finish here. Oh, let me finish. So multiplicity, yeah, on the x plus 1 factor here, that multiplicity is 2, or it's at least even. We don't know if it's 2, but the options they give us are 1, 2, or 3, right? So it's going to be 2 because it's tangent to but does not cross. Also, as well, for this factor, -4, this factor, it's also 2 because it's tangent to and doesn't cross. Okay. We know that this face is down, so we have to have some number in front here that's going to be a negative. We don't know exactly what value that is, but you don't need to worry about this. But it's going to be negative because it's an even function that kind of opens downward, right? So we're going to have some kind of negative number out front here in building this equation. Okay, anything else for number 4?